Welcome to the Jen Cares Powered by Chosen Live podcast, a podcast that brings the community to you. Each week, we feature a guest that will help us stay in the know. We are here every Monday at 8 p.m. on Facebook and YouTube. Be sure to like, comment, and share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Now, here's your host, Jen Cares.
Well, good evening, and welcome to Jen Cares, powered by Chosen Counselors. I am your host, Jen Cares, the founder of Chosen Counselors, a nonprofit organization that seeks to inspire, motivate, empower, and strengthen individuals and families. And again, I thank you all so very much for tuning in, whether live, on a replay, wherever. I thank you so much. I appreciate it. I want to take another pause for the cause because this month marks our 2-year anniversary. So I want to say congratulations and happy anniversary. Friends, I can't tell you how much hard work this is, but it is a fulfilling work. And I am so grateful to be able to share so many amazing resources that are just right in front of our eyes that we don't even know that they are available. And that's what we're about, bringing the community to you. So again, kudos to you for tuning in and helping us keep going. I want to also share next month we are going to be launching as a kickoff from our 2-year anniversary, the Meetup. So the Meetup is going to be a connection for purpose-minded people that provide support and accountability. We have 6 amazing friends that have signed up already. I am so excited. Friends, if you want to be a part, head over to our website, select the Meetup, and sign on up. We're going to meet every 3 months. It's going to be so fun. It's going to be refreshing. What happens is I talk to a lot of people that's ready to throw in a towel. And I don't want nobody to throw in the towel. If it's something in you that you want to pursue, that you want to do, I believe in you. So we're going to come together and do just that. Talk about that. So I'm excited for that. Get on in there. It's going to be good. Whew. So no apologies. Last week was another great episode. I hope that you caught the replay if you missed the live. One of my favorite moments was when we were talking about distractions. And distractions are real. They try to get us off our game. But friends, don't get caught up in a distraction. We also learned about go, that leaving. Sometimes it's a good thing. Sometimes it's a bad thing. Sometimes we don't know what it is, but we know we got to get up out of it, okay? And guess what, friends? There's strength in leaving some situations. You find strength also when you grow. I was reflecting the other day and thought about maturity and how maturity is a sign of growth. Things I wanted to speak up about, and then I chose to mind my business, places I would go that I don't go no more. Growth allows me to upgrade in some areas. And, Lady Obama said, when they go low, we go high. And that's growth. But sometimes we want to get into that song of how low can you go? Can you go down low all the way to the floor? How low can you go? And then you bring it back to the top. Now let's talk about going down low. When we're going low, when we being petty, we trying to get people when we could have just walked away, it can get us into some funky stuff. And when we coming back up, it's not always easy sometimes. So it's so important in our growth, in our maturity. I was talking about how I like to think, is it true? Is it helpful? Is it inspiring? Is it necessary? Is it kind? Of knowing different ways of how we respond to stuff. If not, go and collect 200. Because playing in that game of Monopoly so long, you either owe somebody some money or you end up in jail. And we don't want that to happen. So tonight we're going to talk about growth. And growth also helps us to have no apologies. Why? Because if you didn't involve yourself, you can keep doing you. Now, again, sometimes you do have to speak up, but growth is going to help us in whatever way we are growing. And I have the greatest person for it. We have the amazing Michelle Snow. She is all about taking you to the next level, but we're going to talk about her process of growing, how it's allowed her to be successful, and how it's also allowed others to be successful by listening to what she has shared and following in her footsteps. I heard her present a little while ago virtually, and when I tell you she was a firecracker, she was ready. And friends, sometimes we need that push. So friends, get your notepads and your pens, take some notes, because we have 160 days left in this year, and we need to make each and every one of them count. So tonight, I welcome my friend Michelle Snow for our Grow episode. Welcome.
Thank you. That was so awesome. Kudos to you.
Thank you so much. How are you doing this evening?
Well, I have a confession.
Okay.
So I have been posting this event, sharing this event, and talking about this event. And then went on the porch to do a video for our nonprofit.
Uh,
Sweating, hair
oh.
turned crooked, taking pictures, and then my phone does ding. Wait, that means I had 10 minutes. Whatever this phone is doing, I had 10 minutes. So
Oh goodness, I love it.
it has been a fireworks in this house for the last 9. But nevertheless, I promise you, despite the fact that I got super distracted, I am ready.
You are okay. You know, sometimes I ain't gonna lie. I be procrastinating or I be tired. And I was like, today, if I could get a 10-minute nap, but then it was like 7 o'clock, then it was like 7:10. Was like, Jennifer, you better not take a nap because if you oversleep, somebody's
Better
gonna be
not.
upset with you. So I totally get it. I thank you those 9 minutes. You worked the miracle, girl. We can't even, you don't look like what you've been through, as they say in the church, you know. Oh goodness! So I gotta say hi to Mama Wanda. Mama Wanda is a guest since fan since day one. So hey, Mama Wanda. Yes, 160 days left in this year. We gotta make them count, Mama Wanda. Whew. So over here at Drink Ears, we always start with a quote of the day, and today's quote of the day is: "Don't go through life, grow through life." Eric Butterworth. Don't go through life, grow through life. What are your thoughts on that quote?
I mean, I think that that's so simple, right? Because we know people, if we're not even those people ourselves,
Mhm.
who are waiting to be happy or
Mhm.
waiting to, once I get to this, right? And I literally have to remind myself of that quote and that mindset every year, because it's easy to fall in the trap of the grind, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
The grind gets you so goal focused and task oriented that you don't get a chance to just recognize that all of it's a journey.
Yes. Yes. All of it is a journey. And that waiting to be happy, huh. Sometimes we get caught up in not doing the stuff that really makes us happy because we think, oh no, this has to happen for me to be happy.
And like I once again, because I do my best to remember to take my own advice, to remember
Mm,
to coach myself. And I was in the grind mindset, and then I said, wait a minute, hold up. You've got a lot of things to be grateful for. You've got an amazing relationship with a man who absolutely loves you, who ain't beating on you,
mhm,
who ain't sleeping with Jerry,
mhm,
who not in the basement shooting up,
mhm,
right? I don't got to
mhm.
go outside and wonder who's at the back of the house.
Yes.
And I'm doing my dream job.
Ah.
Even when my dream job gets on the last nerve I got left.
Yes,
Because Jen, as much as you love Jen Cares, every now and then you got one nerve left with Jen Cares.
one nerve that, come on. And that's the realness of it, but you keep on going. And that's hard sometimes. What helps you to keep going?
So let's go ahead and be really authentic tonight, right?
Mhm.
Right. So the first thing is I don't always keep going, right? I mean, there are
Mm.
times where there is total collapse.
Yes.
There is the moment where no matter how good you have been, how successful you are, most of us hit a moment where it's like I'm just over all of it. And
Mm.
so in those moments when I don't keep going, I
Mm-hmm.
absolutely have cried.
Mm.
That has been a huge
Mm.
way for me to get relief, because
Mm-hmm.
a good old amazing cry will get you through.
Yes.
Okay. um and then once you get finished crying and going through and complaining, because everybody's got a person in their life that they call and cuss out,
Yes.
but they're not cussing this person out, they're cussing everybody else out.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Yes.
Because Cardell gets it.
Yes.
Okay, I go in that room and go, nah, and he's like, babe, yeah, I understand. I mean, he don't hear nothing, but
Yes.
babe, I understand means let me just let her have this moment,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So that's the authentic side, that sometimes what we make look so easy is very difficult. On the flip
Mm.
side of that, I do meditate and pray every day, right? Most days. Okay. Let me clean it up a little bit. And two, I try my very best to not be in circles with people who take away my joy.
Mm. Mm. That's a big one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because sometimes we think that we helping them, but it's pulling more from us.
Okay.
And then they're not even listening.
Approximately a couple weeks ago, I went through that, and I just had it on the phone with this person that I really love who gets me. And she was quiet for a second. She says, "You know what? I'm just going to pray right now because you see, you, oh my goodness. I just pray that the Lord takes that off of you."
Yes.
But guess what? Those prayers worked.
Yes. And you
They
need that.
emphatically worked.
You need that. I was talking to somebody and she was like, I'm praying for them. I was like, well, you pray for you too, because we can't always pray for others and then forget about us too. But that's good. You gotta have that person who you can vent to, who you can let it out. Because if you hold it in, somebody's gonna get it.
Come through here.
Somebody's gonna get it, and it might not be nice.
And then you can't recover from it because you didn't have a place to really rinse that thing through, Like we never use that word. We gotta sometimes rinse something out.
I like that.
Okay.
Rinse it out. Because it's a little dirt in there. It's some rocks in there. And if we ain't careful, we gonna hurt somebody. There's some sticks in there, because sticks and stones do break bones. We gonna hurt some people. We gotta rinse that out. That's
okay.
Good. Rinse it out. Rinse it out. I love it. Because you need to. Because if not, friends, and we've all been there where somebody has got to that last piece of the rope that you had. You didn't have no more in that moment, in that day, in that hour, in that week, in that month.
And can I share this?
Yes.
So I'm gonna curve this a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
While I understand that we do not follow horoscopes, we don't follow the stars, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't advise anybody running around. Let me check my horoscope today. But I do advise people to know everything about yourself so that the enemy cannot use it against you, and you can't let it be used against you, right? And so once upon a time, when I was on the self-discovery of who I am, one of the things I researched was when I was born. Why am I recognized as an Aquarius? What does that mean? And Jen, what I found out was that an Aquarius is known for anarchy.
Okay.
Right? And at the time when I did this research, I was in conflict with a lot of people. A lot. And I said, wow, we're known for anarchy. And look at all the people I'm in conflict with. But it was righteous indignation, right? Because people who are identified as an Aquarius are right fighters. Okay. They like justice. They stick up for other people. They root for the underdog. Yeah. They're often at a very high. They can be aggressive and bold and enthusiastic, right? And so for us, we're not fighting with low energy to be disruptive or negative. We're fighting because we want something to be better. But here's how that blessed me. Now, when I'm getting ready to go to war, right, I have to then rinse it out and filter it to say what's going to be your approach, because you know that on your dark side you're prone to conflict. So how do we insert God in this, right? How do we insert light and love and our salt and beautiful flavor, because you're about to tear something up, and when we go all the way, baby, it's hard to come back.
It's hard to come back.
Do you know somebody who identifies as an Aquarius, Jen?
I do.
So is anything I'm saying true based on your experience?
You're true.
Okay.
Yes. And that's the amazing part. And it's funny because as you were saying that, I was thinking of like when I did the imaging for tonight, it was flowers, growing and things of that sort. And even with plants, you have to do the research to know how to successfully help that plant. Because if you're doing the wrong thing, it's going to die and you're going to be upset. Or why is it dying? Or it's going to dry out. Why keep drying out things? You have to do some research to know how to cultivate the plant.
Come through here, Reverend Jen Cares.
I love it. And then
that was good.
And then you was talking about that dark side, because we all got a dark side now. If you don't know, this water doesn't do well, or this food doesn't really do well for my body. It's gonna cause me to be a little sick, and then if I'm sick, I'm really irritated, agitated, nasty. Oh, this good. I got my notepad, friends. I be taking notes because this be good stuff.
Now, I don't know if you're old enough to remember when Martin Lawrence did a comedy special a long time ago, and he talked about the crazy guy who was looking for his lady in the club with footies on. Just looking all kinds of crazy in the club with footies on. See, that's what happens when we go all the way right. don't nothing matter. So it's really important, Jen, because I know a lot of this is about growth and growth mindset, that you're constantly to the audience out here. My advice to you in all of this laughter and talking about signs and your dark side and your light sign is what we're really emphasizing here is to really get to know you, because oftentimes my clients in the past, because they don't do this anymore because they know my system, but as soon as I start coaching somebody, the first thing they say is, well, what book should I read? Or what book? And I would say you read yourself, because likely you're here because you have been studying everybody else so much so that you have forgotten or have lost track of who you are. And so that self-discovery, that deep look in the mirror, like I love Brian Karn and all those other people who's got these great books out here, but there's nothing more interesting and more powerful than reading the book of yourself.
That's so good. I just want to take a pulse for the calls again. PJ, because you're 95, God bless. I remember, it gets my nerves. But that's the good part of like really getting to know you. That's so good. And if I don't know me, I can't tell others how they treat me. I just go along with what they're doing. Oh, that's love. And some things that we're calling love is not really love. That's respect. And some of those things we call respect is not respect. But it's not until we really learn, oh, I do like this. Oh, I don't like that, And so many times we get ourselves mixed up and in a jam because we're just going along with the flow. And this flow is uncomfortable.
Absolutely. And you're just taking on mindsets. And then you wonder why you feel a certain way, or you're trapped with a certain crowd because and let me also jump a foot further and say that studying the book of you and following what you believe God has placed you to do.
Yes.
Listen, let me be very clear that is very difficult to do in these current times. First of all, it's not popular. Okay, so you have to go against the grain because this is a time where it is culturally normal to just do what everyone else is doing. I mean, I remember a young lady who had no interest in food. She was doing something like, let's just say she was doing greeting cards.
Okay.
But cupcakes became really popular. So she saw people making cupcakes. They were very beautiful. So she got into the cupcake game. And I have to admit, she did a really good job with appearances. They were really, really beautiful cupcakes. So I bit one. Thank you, Jesus. I bit one of the cupcakes, and at first I thought that I was doing something wrong. Like maybe it's me, but then, but Jen, and this is without exaggeration. I kept trying to bite the cup, but something was inside of it that was so hard that I said, well, maybe if I break it with my hand and then put it in my mouth.
Oh, help the Lord.
I should have stopped, but I was determined that that it had to be me, because a cupcake couldn't be this bad. It just couldn't be, right?
Yeah.
So she did give the cupcake business up a few years later. But she's an example of people just copying something because it's popular. Let me just try it because everybody else is doing it, and not taking time to say, well, do I understand temperatures and recipes, and am I committed to taste and quality, and can I be competitive, right? And so my alarm to you, right? Like imagine right now there's a big red sign. My big alarm to you is that it's very well okay for you to observe practices and methodologies, right? I think that is the more excellent way. But when you look in the mirror one day and if someone says to you, what brings me joy?
Mm-hmm.
What am I genuinely good at? What can I do that can bring me in profit? And you can't answer because you've just imitated
Mm-hmm.
everything you've seen. Then that's when you need to study the book of you even more.
Mm. Whew. He said, "Now who got the nasty cupcakes?" But that's so true because there's so many people. Well, such a good point because so many people have mastered this facade of doing these amazing things, but then they can't back it up. It's almost like the interview. They showed up and they practiced or like read the footnotes to be able to get the job, and then they got it. It was like, oh no, I don't know how to do that. And it's a meme going around talking about, lie on your resume. They still got to train you anyway, but it's still some stuff you should be able to go in there with. As simple as knowing how to write an email, as simple as knowing how to put a signature, as simple as a table manner and things of that sort. And sometimes because you want to just fit in, it looks nice. Everybody else is doing it. Oh, I can do cupcakes too. You could be phenomenal in one aspect of it, but if the full package ain't there, not too many people gonna buy that cupcake.
Okay, so let's talk about the meme and this cupcake example.
Mm-hmm.
It's been 8 years and I'm still talking about that.
Mm.
I see her face very clearly.
Mm.
I have never brought anything from her new food menu, and I have never ever recommended her to do business with anybody.
Mm.
Okay, so that same thing happens in the place of business.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to this younger generation who believes that lie your way through the process because you're just embellishing, you will certainly have some wins.
Mm-hmm.
You will absolutely have some wins.
Mm-hmm.
But we're talking about people who are looking for a legacy.
Mm.
Right? On Michelle Snow's absolute worst day, wig crooked, makeup run over, had a bad day.
Yes.
If a client didn't pay on my worst day,
Mm-hmm.
I am beastly at coaching.
Yes.
Right? I can get into any bed in any category with any coach, period, no matter what. And
Yes.
so that is the confidence
Mm-hmm.
that we want our influencers and leaders to have.
Yes.
There is a thing called fake it till you make it, because that's the part of the faith walk, right? When you're trusting God to eventually get to where your heart is. That's a faith walk. We're not talking about the flat out lie walk.
Yes.
The LIE, right?
Yes. Yes.
That's completely different.
Yes. And that is the difference. The faith and that lie. Because even in the faith, you still doing some parts. Like, God, I trust you. Seeking God for direction. Should I do this? Should I do that? Because then you go along with it. And favor of God is amazing because he can help you do a lot of things you didn't think you knew how to do.
I mean, and let's look at a couple of examples for people who were trapped into the pressures of society and fame to look the part. I had the pleasure Sunday. I couldn't get on to TD Jakes online, right? That's my online go to 10 o'clock. We turn everything off, eat breakfast and go to church, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for whatever reason, his system wasn't working.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how I did this, Jen, but I was watching Little Bow Wow. Now, how do I go from the Lord's house, TD Jakes mindset to Little Bow? Don't ask. But that's what had happened. Okay. And the video showed how famous he was and how rich he was and how talented he was as a very young boy. He got discovered at 6 years old and he was put on by the time he was 12 or 13 years old. He had more money and cars than anybody that he had ever met. He was hanging out on the road with Dr. Dre and Snoop. I mean, he was such a big deal. So fast forward, they showed that he was telling the world that he was catching private jets. And of course, he got busted by some random who said, Bow Wow says that he's on private jets, but he's right here in the econo class, right? And so I'm guilty of laughing at that. I'm guilty of like, hey, that's what you get for fronting. But I watched the video, Jen, and here's what I found out.
Mm,
This young man went through a lot of trauma in this business industry,
mm,
a lot of hurt, a lot of lies, a lot of misdirection, a lot of vultures and scavengers. And keep in mind, he went into this business game at the peak:
mm,
cars, money, homes. I mean, he had it all.
mm-hmm,
And so, how do you come from being the biggest, most rich, most successful young person that you know to
mm,
your finance change within 10 years, and you got to still stay relevant?
mm,
So that lie he told, I'm not necessarily excusing it,
mm-hmm,
but when I saw the backstory,
mm-hmm,
I'm like, wow, now I see why he would lie about child support payments and money and all of that. And
mm-hmm,
so I'm sharing this story with the audience because it caught up with him.
mm-hmm,
And now he's forever tainted and
mm,
embarrassed as the guy who was just a liar.
mm,
And so, ladies and gentlemen, kings and queens, Bow Wow really has been through something. And he's not like broke like the guy in the corner with a scepter pass. He's far from it. But nevertheless, that period in his life
mm.
where he had to live up to his old brand
Wow.
now is hurting him in this new life.
Mm,
So the lies, they do come back at some point.
right.
And can you recover from it? That's the question. Can you recover?
Mm. Now, in the theme, talking about growing, and he grew to a point. It wasn't how it was in the beginning, and then he's trying to still stay afloat. And it's amazing because, like you're saying, like you was in this one, but you went to something else that was just as powerful, that was just as enlightening, that was just as encouraging to be able to encourage us on tonight. Being able to really cash some receipts that we saying that we have that we don't really have. And in our growth, we say, "Oh yeah, I know how to do that. I could do that." And then we find out, "Ooh, but can you really?" And then we find out we only doing it because we're trying to keep up with the Joneses. We're trying to be the Jeffersons. And the Jeffersons went through blood, sweat, and tears to get there. And we're trying to skip over and just say, "Oh no, we there. Deluxe apartment in the sky." But then do the blood, sweat, and tears to get there.
I mean, I think that if all of us as influencers were to be a bit more authentic,
Mm-hmm.
that the journey has some challenging places, society would not be in the place it is right now,
Mm-hmm.
right? If the Bow Wows of the world were able to say, yeah, like 10 years ago I did have this blank millions of dollars, but I've got kids, I'm older, I've got new bills,
Yes.
the roles aren't coming in as much, the
Yes.
residual checks are smaller. So it doesn't take away from what I have been through, but I'm in a different place right now.
Mm-hmm.
However, society only has glamorized us when we're up. And so
Oh.
we're forced to keep up a facade, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, my brand coach is on the line, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so there is a delicate balance for a brand persona and a
Mm-hmm.
brand image,
Yes.
and what you have to present publicly, and then keeping some things private that you don't share, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, my doctor, Jen, can I just have another moment?
Yes.
Girl, my doctor died.
Oh.
I mean, died. Whose doctor dies, right?
Oh.
So I was just like, I've never heard of such a thing.
Yes.
She had cancer, for God's sake,
Oh.
and was treating me. I mean, she was giving me the best care ever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did it take away from her being a really great doctor that she had cancer? Right? And so that's my word of encouragement to you.
Yes.
Sometimes you will be going through a hard place,
Mm-hmm.
a difficult place, maybe a sensitive place of pain or embarrassment.
Mm.
But just like my doctor, despite the fact that she was sick and
Mm.
she was healing people,
Just so
she
that.
was still magnificent at
Mm.
what she did. And she's still in the midst of, probably, I think she worked almost to her last dying day.
Mm.
She was still healing people. She
Mm.
was still going in, doing what she knew how to do well. So, what
Mm.
I'm saying to you, sisters and brothers, kings and queens, influencers and bosses, you will have a time or a place in your life, your road, or your journey where your private life doesn't meet up with your outside brand persona. But I'm here to tell you, baby, if you're leading with love, if you're leading with integrity, if you're leading with great honesty to the best of your ability, God is still able in the midst of that. Hold on and keep pushing through. I do remember coaching on absolute empty. I remember coaching
Mm.
when it was so hard, Jen. I had nothing, but I knew that there was something inside of me
Yes.
that would heal people despite the fact that I was empty. And
Mm.
here we are 9 years later. To God be the glory for the
Yes.
things that He has done.
Yes.
Despite those hard days, baby,
Mm.
I'm still here.
Yes.
Girl, I'm about to go somewhere that I had no intention on going tonight.
Mm.
But I feel this thing so deeply because so many people, that this whole imposter syndrome, I'm
Mhm.
sick of it. I'm
Mhm.
sick of it. Put that whole imposter syndrome in the trash, bury it, do something with it, but stop saying it.
Yes.
Because all of us have had a moment where our private lives didn't meet up with our brands. Right?
Mhm.
I'll be the
Mhm.
first to tell you that I have been there. But
Yes.
what I could stand on was God's word, that
Mm.
I was doing the best I could in the skin
Yes.
that I was in.
Yeah. Mm. Mm. And that's so important, doing the best you can in the skin you're in. Because the world unfortunately is not always nice. I could see a post, and I ain't gonna lie, I go straight to the comments because I know the comments are gonna be crazy. But sometimes some people are a little harsh. Sometimes it's a fun joke, and then somebody always has that negative thing to say, that negative Nancy and things of that sort. But that person is doing the best that they can, doing the best they can. We don't know their situation. We don't know how they got there, but we quick to like tear them down, and then we can't take those words back. And unfortunately, sometimes they see those words and it causes them to be like, well, maybe I should give up. But friends, don't give up. 9 years later, Snow is still growing, still showing off, still doing amazing things for some amazing people. And I mean, her resume is, I mean, we didn't even have her tell us about herself, but the people that she has around her, the people that knows her, your name really goes further than what you even imagine, Michelle, because you're just doing some amazing things. You're helping so many people. So then that causes people to say, hey, no, because Michelle Snow helped me do this. She helped me do that. Or, nope, Michelle said do this. And I didn't want to do it. But then when I did do it, I saw that she knew what she was talking about. Right? Because we have people that's on these, platforms, and they're telling stuff. And like, oh, they don't know what they're talking about. But it's not until we really try and find, oh, the proof is in the pudding. It really does work. I just had the measurements wrong. Or I just didn't listen all the way. Or I just felt like I wasn't able to do it. But that's the amazingness of really being true to yourself as well. Because they get to see, like, hey, Michelle had a bad day, but she still showed up for me. Michelle, she was doing some other projects, but 10 minutes before, she said, wait, I can't forget about them. I got to get back myself together. And that's amazing. That's the goal that you have of the growth that you're trying to help of other people. So again, I commend you. 9 years. I'm excited for 9 more and 9 more and 9 more on that, of you being able to help and encourage people. I mean, yes, retire and things of that sort, and have like many Michelles around that's doing your work for you, and you sit back and relaxing. But that's the amazingness that you're doing, and I think people want to get to the top so fast, but it takes this lower ground to get there. It takes that perfection to get there. I always talk about the Troy brothers with the 409 cleaner. It took them 409 times to get to that cleaner. I would have probably gave up a couple of times before then, because chemicals mixed together. I mean, if y'all ever mix bleach and ammonia, y'all was about to die already. So I can only imagine. But they did not give up. And so many times we want to give up. In that moment where we are tired, defeated, upset, somebody rain on our parade, and then we got to give 105% for somebody else. But it's amazing that the consistency, the tenacity to keep on going, even when you're like, maybe I shouldn't. Something tells you, you got to. Not even so much for other people. Sometimes it is really for you, because it's helping you to not get in that depression, not helping you to not get in the funk, helping you to say, hey, I have worth. My legacy is bigger than me. My legacy is bigger than this moment, so I got to keep going.
And
Very good. I'm excited for you.
I mean, I first of all, thank you right? Because the encourager absolutely still needs to be encouraged.
Yes.
And what I'll add to that for the people who are watching is another key component on a long journey, right? On a legacy, for you really want to build something that's sustaining, that
Mhm.
people can go back and say, I benefited from that and I'm still living off of that legacy and word, is to please be focused and to the best of your ability to mind your business, right? And so let me clarify the minding your business part. Um, so I recently put up a post about Dr. Umar Johnson, and I don't even remember all that I said. But whatever I said about Dr. Umar Johnson, a lot of people were really upset, right?
Mhm.
And they were not on the Dr. Umar Johnson train.
Mhm.
Now, let's be very clear. I know that he is a controversial guy, right?
Mhm.
But my defense for him was change the channel. Like, why is he so important to your
Mhm.
life
Mhm.
that you've gotten this angry? Because most of what he says is entertaining or enlightening, right?
Mhm.
It's
Mhm.
entertaining or enlightening. Like, wow, I hadn't thought about that. Or that's a
Yeah.
fact about Pan-Africanism that I didn't know. Or that's a
Mhm.
thing about my Black history that has helped me. I didn't know that. Like, I haven't given anything to the school, and I haven't done anything but enjoy and like some of his shows. So I really
Mhm.
don't have a lot to say. I'm sharing that because it was said that there's a gentleman out there that did 300 shows trying to discredit Dr. Umar.
Wow.
And I said 300, like three whole hundred shows. I mean, Jen, how many
400.
shows have you done so far?
I don't think I haven't hit 300 yet, and I ain't discrediting nobody, but I got some work to do, obviously.
But what I'm trying to paint this picture is 300 shows.
Yeah.
Um, it is a lot of work to
Yeah.
discredit somebody, right?
You doing some research, taking some time.
I mean,
Oh,
the conversation and the enthusiasm and the commitment you've got to have to for because I'm just imagining, Jen, that
yes.
whoever this person is has a life. I'm just going to go out on a limb
I'm hoping.
and say that they've got a life and their
Yes.
show is probably about something else. I'm just going to take a guess, right?
Yes. Yes.
But they had time and commitment.
For 300.
So you got some likes, you got some
Mhm.
views on YouTube, you got a lot of trolling in your comments, you got some feel good in your guts. But what would that do for you in 5 years?
Mm.
Because Dr. Umar going to still be in them buildings.
Mhm.
He going to still be getting his cash apps.
Mhm.
He going to still show up and tell you that he is King Kong consciousness. Okay. He going to still be his prince and tell you he a Leo and he fine. Okay.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
he going to still go
You gonna
on
feel.
with his beautiful Black life.
Yes.
Right. But your legacy is going to be what?
Mm.
Stay focused, kings and queens. Stay
Mm.
focused.
Mm. That's the part. Last week, Christian was sharing how her car was started acting up after she was doing so many amazing things, and she's like, you know what? That's a distraction. She was like, I'm not even gonna worry about today, and that's it because we get caught up on stuff that ain't got nothing to do with us. To do 300 whole shows to discredit somebody, and we already got enough people that's already discrediting us. Why can't we just build each other up? That crab barrel is really real.
I don't have time.
I don't have time either. That mind your business. It's so good. They say I got 6 months to mind my business and 6 months not to worry
To
about
leave,
yours. Or
leave
leave
you
it
alone.
alone. Leaving it alone. And then sometimes I have to catch myself because I go to ask a question. I'm like, you know what? I don't need to know. It ain't my business. They gonna do whatever they want to do. It ain't got nothing to do with me. It ain't gonna affect my house, my car, my job, my function of living. It ain't got nothing to do with here. I ain't got to worry about it. And sometimes we get caught in that because you're like, oh, but wait, what happened? And it's true. Like sometimes there's some things that you kind of follow up on, or like again, we're great detectives when we want to be because you find out an article like, oh, well, what happened? You go all the way back to in the beginning, but then you're like, I just wasted my time. I could have been doing X, Y, and Z. It's sometimes to do that, but that shouldn't be your whole 300 whole episodes of your year because it's 365 days in a year. I can only imagine how quickly he did these 300 episodes or how long they were if he had to edit them, all the stuff that goes into that. Sir, you could have had your own platform talking about something empowering for the people.
Yeah. So key word here is sure, you'll slip away and have a moment like
Yeah.
Jen just said. I mean, who doesn't, right? It's called news.
Yes.
Sometimes it's called gossip, but let's just say it's called news.
Yes.
But arrest yourself and pull
Yes.
yourself back in, because discipline, let's go here with another key word here in this growth
Mm.
mindset, right?
Yes.
Discipline is a very key component on your road to yourself, right?
Mhm.
Discipline sounds like this courageous, difficult word, but I've learned that rules do apply, and
Mhm.
that they're helpful, right? I mean,
Yes.
to the people, and I don't know if you ever met these people, but I have met those people who
Mhm.
say, I don't want nobody telling me nothing. I don't want nobody telling me what to do with anything. And I beg people to tell me what to do, right?
Uh-huh.
Because it gives me perspective. It
Mhm.
gives me insight. It
Mhm.
gives me parameters, right? Sometimes people are just giving you control buffers so that you don't hurt yourself and that
Ah.
you get a chance to really enjoy that
Yeah.
experience totally. Stay
Yeah.
right here in this zone, not because I'm trying to stifle you,
Mhm.
not because I'm trying to hold you back, but in this season, in this time frame, in this
Mm.
moment, I can see what you can't see.
Definitely.
So I'm going to give you some buffers to my young people that might have scrolled by and saw this on your timeline. We are not trying to get you home by 10 p.m. because we're angry or because we're mean, right? We understand that if you're outside after 9 or 10 o'clock in these very dangerous streets, there could be something very traumatic that can happen to you. So discipline rules mean that you have the courage,
Yes.
right? You have the courage, the tenacity, and the wherewithal to follow simple instructions, right? It doesn't make you a punk or a coward or less than or not valued. You have courage in your confident self to follow protocol for the protection of you.
Mm.
Period.
Courage and confidence. Being confident in who you are. And sometimes we don't have the confidence in ourselves. So then we do settle for whatever. But it's more in you. You have some great things in you. Be confident in those things you know how to do. It's like at the holiday, you know how to make that dish and you bring it. You confident that you ain't going home with it. But if you can't be confident, it's like we want to go back into the kitchen and work that out a little bit more. And sometimes we don't do the research of that to find out how to be the best version of it. We just say, "Oh no, I'm just doing what they doing." But what they doing is a special recipe sometimes. When you really do that special recipe, you ever been to a restaurant, you had something like, oh, I gotta try this at home, and you can't quite get it. And Pinterest has a good couple of things where you be like copycat of this, copycat of that. It's a copycat. But you then fine tune it to make it what you want it to be best for you.
So now that we pivoted from discipline
Yeah.
to confidence, right? Because these steps on your growth, right?
Mm-hmm.
Into being your best self.
Yes.
People believe that confidence doesn't mean that that you don't have any fear.
Oh.
Right? So
Yeah, you do. Got some stories. Go ahead.
confidence means that you believe in the possible outcome, right?
Yes.
You believe in the potential of what can be a result.
Yes.
You may go in feeling fearful, right? You may that's a real emotion that
Mm-hmm.
you may experience at the point of entry,
Yeah.
right? But the confidence says, despite this influx of emotion that I feel, I'm confident that there is a great
Mm-hmm.
potential great potential at the end of this.
Yeah.
I'm confident that I have studied or have shown myself approved, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That I have done something that in this moment, I deserve this moment, right?
Mhm.
Even though I may not feel
Mm.
completely prepared, right?
Come
Even
on.
though I'm experiencing this butterfly,
Yes.
right? Women have done a doozy on each other because they make confidence look like high heels and lipstick and speaking powerfully on a microphone. That's a facade, right? The truth is that real confidence is a belief in the possible
Come on.
result, and
Yes.
that you go into it leaning into what that result could be.
You go leaning into what their result could be. Yeah, because everybody can't wear a heel and they think that's what you got to do. You just got to show up. I don't know how to beat my face like those other people. You could watch YouTube or you could just show up. Back in the day with some Vaseline and you called it a day. And when I first got my first job, I was at McDonald's and I would have this little eyeliner. It was a silver eyeliner and I had my little lip gloss. I was popping. It don't take that much. Some people contour to the gods. It don't take that much. I don't even know how to contour. I just put stuff together and be like, oh, they came out nice. But guess what? It made me happy. So you got to do what makes you happy sometimes in that. And that confidence is sometimes fearful because like, did it look right? Is it good? But guess how God confirms it for me? I go out and somebody be like, oh, that looks really nice. I'm like, thank you, Jesus. Why? Because I already had that conversation with God of I was unsure. My confidence wasn't always, at that moment. And then somebody comes and say, oh, that's nice. Oh, thank you, Jesus. I'm telling them thank you too. But that was a conversation I had with God of him easing my worries. And that's the confidence too. Somebody come and say, that was really good. I really needed that. And that helps build your confidence because as you see people are benefiting from what you're doing, it's like, I want to do a little bit more. It's not to be cocky. It's not to be seen. It's not all that stuff. But because you genuinely want to help somebody, you genuinely see the growth in somebody. It's like, hey, if they don't got to go through what I went through, what else can I do?
That's so good. That's so good. I'm just applauding all of the listeners. I mean, sometimes in these conversations, it can be hard to just, hear. It's a lot
Mhm.
of auditory conversation. But my hope to you is that you are literally taking away these nuggets. We talked about discipline.
Mhm.
It's very important that you have the courage and the
Yes.
confidence to take instruction, that you
Mm.
can fit into boundaries, not because it makes you less than, but
Ooh.
sometimes listening and taking instruction from others is a protection to get you to the
Yeah.
next level. We use the curfew as an example.
Mhm.
Why? Because there's safety in following the rule of your
Mhm.
parents, so that it's protection for you that you may be
Mhm.
able to be your best self. So I know one of the questions that you wanted me to answer in this grow series
Mhm.
was that literally specifically you asked about the mindset between
Mhm.
a fixed mindset and a growth
Yes.
mindset, and what
Yes.
could be the difference.
Mhm.
um, it's very important, no matter how much you know a topic, to always leave a piece of yourself open to the possibility that there could be more. I
Mhm.
was recently in a women's meeting with a very powerful, very successful, very rich woman, a
Mhm.
black woman, and she's doing phenomenal work countrywide. And she asked me what I did, and I lined it up for her in categories. And because I was trying to get to the point, I failed to tell her all of the other subcategories of my work, right? And she said, oh, wait a minute, you're just doing these three things? Well, have you thought about your book, your author, classes, training, workshops? And my flesh said, girl, bye. Okay, like, do you know who you're dealing with? Right? But my heart said, well, first of all, she doesn't know, dummy, because you didn't tell her.
Mhm. Mhm.
And two, what does it prove for you to attack her? She might actually say something that you're not doing
Ooh.
if you just wait a second, right?
Mhm.
So she was getting into this long list of things that I already do, I already have, but I
Mhm.
was waiting like there's probably something on here that I'm not doing, right?
Mhm.
And ultimately there was.
Mhm.
Ultimately there was. So that is an example of that's a real life example
Yes.
of having a growth mindset, that you're confident enough
Mhm.
to listen and lower yourself for the
Mhm.
potential of what can come out of this.
Ooh.
What I mean, who would I have impressed interrupting her? There was two other women in the room
Mm.
who were also successful. So all I would have done was look arrogant, right?
Mm.
Now, there's a chance for me to improve something that I didn't even know that existed. So um, let me end this by saying, in all of these tips with a growth mindset versus a fixed mindset,
Mm-hmm.
listen to the possibilities and follow what my coach says, Donovan West. This is my last tip because I think we're running out of time.
Mm-hmm.
He says, listen to lead. Now, Jen, I got to put a quarter in the meter and park here for a second.
Go
Now,
ahead.
we know a quarter in the meter don't last very long, so I'm just going to make this real short.
You good. You good.
Listen to lead. Listen to lead. When you are in position and you are looking to get a client to make a deal, do a collaboration or a partnership, there's always this double dutch in you, right? Because you want to say what you do. You want to look impressive because you want to pull this person or organization into your world.
Mm.
And I was guilty of that.
Mm.
My coach said it's very important that you give who you want to do business with a full opportunity to express themselves. Find time to be interested in what they have to say.
Mm.
Push them for color and detail and be genuine and authentic
Yes.
because people can smell and feel a phony.
Mm.
In listening to lead, once you have clearly heard the pain and the pleasure of whom you want to get into business with, then you can dig back into your authentic self,
Mm-hmm.
the person who's living in their purpose, working through their strengths, been studying themselves, been disciplined, having a growth mindset. You can dig back into all of that because if it's empty, you can't dig into any of that because the script you might go blank on.
Come on.
But you can dig into that bag and then say to them, based off of what you just shared, would this work?
Mm-hmm.
Could this be of help to you? Here is a path that could be to help you to get to your success goal, right? But that came because you stopped, you stood, you were
Yes.
disciplined, you
Yes.
listened, and
Yes.
you waited for an opportunity so that you can get that connection.
Mm. You know, a big part too was when you said that this woman, rich, well knowledgeable, on such a platform, asked you, "What do you do?" And sometimes somebody asks us, and we don't even know what to say. And even though you didn't give the whole scope, you gave a piece of it, but someone was be like, "Dip, dip, 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 dip." And sometimes that confidence, that courage, that discipline, we've disciplined ourselves to fine tune whatever it is that we're doing. We have the courage and confidence now because you never know who that person is that's asking. You never know what idea they're going to give to push you or what funds they might give to push you or what connection. I was at an event and the girl was sharing about her business and the lady was like, ask more questions, ask more questions. She said, I asked because I had this in New York. The girl was from New York. She said, yeah, we're always on blah, 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 blah. I was like, dang, it wasn't for me though. So I wasn't hating. I was happy for her. And that's something too, to be happy for somebody else because when it's your time will come. That wasn't my door. That was her door. So being able to really cheer somebody else on. Like, yeah, get her information. Go ahead and share. Oh, you do that? I'm like the hype man. Oh, that is nice. And things that sort of things like, oh yeah, And as you keep on pumping and praising, you never know what's on that other side.
So I think that's a powerful note for us to end on.
Mm-hmm.
The celebration of others. What does it do for you?
Yes.
If I was to dig in my truth bag, we've been doing this now for 9 years. The first year was very difficult for me because Facebook have you messed up. And if you wasn't a woman of the Lord, I would use a different word besides messed up. Okay. A much more colorful word. Okay. And so I'm looking at this person that I grew up with and this person from the neighborhood or this person from school, and they're doing all of these really beautiful things while I'm trying to get it together, right? I'm trying to figure out this thing called confidence and the path and
Yes.
legacy.
Yes.
And I was extremely jealous, right?
Mm-hmm. I love
And
honesty.
huh?
That's honesty.
I was extremely jealous and balanced with envious, like why do you have it and
Mm-hmm.
not me? Or you shouldn't have it.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, when you grow up in church, you grow up as a believer, you know when you're in sin. You know when you're in error.
Mm-hmm.
And so with that feeling of jealousy and envy just felt so dirty, And I had to work consciously at it and learn how to fake my way through it. I would say
Mm-hmm.
congratulations, but on side I was like, I can't stand you, right? That's
Mm-hmm.
my truth. I would I
Yes.
would I was saying what I hope one day to believe.
Yes.
And the more I did it, the easier it got,
Mm.
the more authentic it got.
Yes.
And then it turned into a thing,
Mm-hmm.
right? It turned into a thing that became one of my most dominant parts of my business, which is the celebration of other people's accomplishments. And you meet a lot of coaches out here.
Mm-hmm.
You are far pressed to
Mm-hmm.
find many of them who celebrate their clients the way that the Snow platform does. We
Mm-hmm.
brag on our people all the time
Yes.
because what are you coaching for if you can't show
Yes.
who's getting the benefit from it? And
Mm.
so where I'm going with this part of the story is that in your legacy there will be a process and a time frame where you will have to sometimes muddle through the muddy waters. I had to fake it until I made it, until it became true, because my heart wanted to celebrate and love people. But now, to the point of why I shared that story,
Mm-hmm.
my biggest, baddest, most successful clients came because it was a referral of
Mm.
somebody I celebrated,
Come on.
right? Not some random marketing ad, which
Mm-hmm.
typically has not brought a lot of return,
Hmm.
but it's somebody that I loved on,
Yes.
somebody that I held up and
Yes.
pushed and celebrated and pushed their confidence.
Mm.
They went and became a success. They went and did their thing,
Mm.
then came back and said, based off of how you made me feel,
Mm.
the interaction that I had, I
Yes.
want to share this resource for you. So let me make it real plain because we down to the wire here.
Mm-hmm.
Miss Kim, that was her name. I coached her, and it was a one-on-one in my office. And she just gave me no emotions, nothing. I
Mm.
said, wow, I suck. I must have given her a really bad call. And I was in it, right? I was in it.
I believe it.
And I didn't hear from her for a long time. And I felt bad because I knew I had done my best. I knew I had done my best. Well, baby, it was not 120 days later. She called me back and said, based off of what you did with me in that office alone, I
Mm.
want you to come work on this government contract for the
Mm.
state of New Jersey,
Come on.
where we oversee multi-million-dollar
Come
projects
on.
and teach my team what
Yes.
you taught me in that little room. And I said, what, me?
Mm. Mm.
Me?
I love it.
All because I did what I knew to do, which was to love someone through a process
Mm-hmm.
for them to be their best selves.
Mm.
God did the rest. I'm
Mm.
done.
Oh, Michelle, quickly, who is Michelle Snow? How can people follow? What are some things you're doing that could benefit?
So, in a nutshell, let me share with you that Michelle Snow is a business coach. We support large and small businesses and students for championship like success. We do this through four cornerstones of our business, which is one, profit planning, two, business techniques, three, outreach and enrollment, and four, because I like to talk. I love to help people to shine. We have a warehouse full of resources to help you scale with grants and contracts. So if any of that feels like something that can help you get to your next level, you can find it all at growwithsnow.com. jenslow.com. It looks like Jen has lost her connection, everybody. So it's been 1 hour. There we go. Here she comes.
So
there you go. I see you. You're back.
Okay. We having technical difficulties today because we're doing a good thing. But we still going. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I basically shared my pitch, but overall what I was saying is I'm at growwithsnow.com. That's where you can find all of our information. I'm all over social media as either Snow Michelle, strictly on Facebook. Everything else is Michelle Snow or Grow with Snow. I would love the opportunity to serve you. And let me just say to you, Jen Cares, that I went out of my way to create lines of service that no matter where you are in your business financially, we could serve you. So if you're struggling financially, you're like, I'm not really ready to pay for a coach at full service, we have a membership that you can join for as low as $30 with no contract, no hassle, no stress. And if you really want that big girl or that big boy coaching where you want to make a serious investment, we have that for you as well.
Very nice. Friends, y'all be sure to connect. She's done some amazing things. This has been really good. Is there anything you want to leave us with, or do you feel like you gave it all to us? Any closing remarks?
I'll just say, let's continue to support people who support you. It's important that if you check this live out tonight, that you go back and you love on Jen, that you go back to her page and give her a like. Sometimes just somebody putting a smiley face in the comments and saying good job or congratulations. Sometimes we just need that because we're working so hard behind the scenes to do this work. So please go back to your host, love on her, comment, donate, ask, can you buy an ad? Come on, Shamanama, and get your ads with Jen Cares, right? Get your budget and get your life and say, I like that you're putting on Black women. I think it's a great thing that they've got a safe space with you to talk and to share and to love. How much is an ad? All right. So check out your girl and take good care of her as she takes care of us.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you so much, Michelle. This was really, really good. I truly, truly enjoyed this evening, friends. I hope that you enjoyed it too. And I hope that you have a great, great evening. Thank you again.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Awesome. That was the amazing Michelle Snow. She was amazing, and I hope that you all truly, truly enjoyed her. You know, I've been having some technical difficulties today. I do not appreciate this, but guess what? The show goes on. No distractions. Why? Because we are going to have courage. We're going to have discipline. We're going to be confident in whatever it is that we're out here trying to work to do, okay? Don't forget our quote of the day. Don't go through life, grow through life. And that's by Eric Butterworth. Again, don't go through life, grow through life. Oh, so good. Again, I'm so excited that this month celebrates our 2-year anniversary of doing Jen Cares. I thank you all so very much for tuning in, for liking, for commenting, for sharing. I thank you for your support. I truly, truly appreciate it because I can't do any of this without you. I also want to share again that we had the meetup. It's going to be amazing. Our first event will be held in August. We're a connection for purpose-minded people. We're going to support each other, encourage each other, and hold each other accountable. I hear from a lot of people that want to give up, but guess what? You can't give up because you were chosen for this. Be sure to join us next month as we will have our I'm an Author series. Check out who we have coming.
Well, hey there, friends. Be sure to join Jen Cares for the August series, I'm an Author. Beginning on Monday, August 1st, we will have Shantae Proctor for Survive, Thrive, and Boss Up. Tune in on Monday, August 8th, as we will have Francina Lattimore for Accidentally Born on Purpose. Next up on Monday, August 15th is Designed to Be Me with Jaza Hall. We will then have Shar Phelps for Cast Your Vision on Monday, August 22nd. We will close out on Monday, August 29th, as we talk to Tyra Gardner for our Live Anger Free episode. Tune in on Facebook or on YouTube by searching Chosen Counselors on Mondays at 8 p.m. Be sure to mark your calendar and tell a friend, as this Gen Care series is brought to you by Chosen Counselors.
Awesome, friends. All these difficulties. So friends, I don't know what was happening today, but guess what? It is still a good day. I thank you all so much for joining in. You know, distractions happen. I thank you. Please join us next month, as it's going to be amazing with our I'm an Author series. I share with you the quote of the day. That's all I have for you tonight. Until next time, thank you. I love you all for real. Good night.
Friends, we thank you for joining Gen Cares this week. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Unable to watch us live? Be sure to find us on your favorite podcast platform. You can also visit our website, chosencounselors.com. That's chosen with a Z, so that you can stay in the know and, most of all, never miss a show. If you found value in this episode, we'd appreciate you sharing it with a friend. Most of all, be sure to tune in for our next episode next Monday at 8 p.m. right here, as we specialize in bringing the community to you.